10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Philippine Chicken Karagdagang Kaalaman.
Speaking about what they call the old chicks production, ibig sabihin po this is one of the specialized production area on the Philippine native chicken. No, kasi ang nagiging consideration namin dito that we know that the industry is still on the infancy stage. And we hope that the presence of this kind of group of native chicken is already over centuries na available po dito sa location natin. The only problem that we have is that hindi po siya nabigyan po ng pansin ng ating mga kababayan on this production. No, yung ho bakit that halos in some other areas of the countries, the availability of native chicken halos madalang mo na makita. No, yung ho bakit that we are reviving this one para po na kung saan the tawag dito yung opportunity behind as what we have mentioned in the previous episodes that halos the requirement for the whole country is about 230 million heads of native chicken in a year. Kaya lang ang nagiging problema po natin is that the packages of technology na available at saka po raising commercial native chicken in commercial scale. No, halos bago po sa larangan po sa pag-alaga ng native chicken. Doon kasi yung focus ng production is more on what they call the backyard scale of production. Yung kung bakit at Central Philippine University, we tried to develop this kind of technology. Kaya lang, along the way, hindi natin talaga ma-excuse that there are some problems that come along the way. Yung kung bakit that we are sharing this to our viewers para pa naman if ever na ma-encounter po ninyo sa darating na panahon, you can already equip yourself as to what to do. Otherwise kasi pag iba kasi ang usapan, kasi hearing some of the seminars about native chicken na kung saan halos lahat-lahat na kagandahan ang lumalabas. Actually, yung kung bakit nilagay namin dito is what they call the ups and down because meron minsan na nasa taas ka at minsan nasa baba ka din and you must equip or determine this kind of problem para po naman na kung saan na if ever na may encounters, kaya nang sabi ko kanina, if ever na may encounter po natin at least we are equipped. Kasi yung mga nauna kasi ang tawag namin doon is tuition fee. Kaya lang ang tuition fee kasi sobrang mahal, lalo na pag yung manok mo is marami. Yung isa sa kinakailangan po natin is that particularly in the old chicks production is what they call the breeder's tax. Isa kasi yan sa mga pinakamalaking consideration natin when it comes to the operation. Yung kung bakit that we are encouraging particularly our raisers, if possible po, if you can identify your own local native chicken in your respective area, because in the Philippines, as what we have discussed in the earlier version of this presentation, na kung saan sa buong Pilipinas halos marami na po yung mga genetic group ng native chicken na hindi po na-utilize. And the advantage of using our own local is that na in terms of acclimatization sa area, halos acclimatized na yan. In terms of the climatic condition, in terms of the available scavengable feed resources, at saka kahit na po the way and how it is being raised. However, in cases na kung saan medyo madalang po kayo makakita niyan, you can acquire it in various sources. Hindi lang po kasi dito sa amin sa Central Philippine University, but there are raisers also that used to propagate this native chicken. So kung medyo malapit yan sa inyo, I may suggest that kindly contact those raisers na pwede nyo pagkukunan po ng stocks. Ang binta lang kasi pag malapit yung pagkukunan po ninyo, ang tawag dito yung cost of transport, isa na yan sa consideration natin, at saka if you can access, no, if they will allow you to visit their place, no, at least makita po ninyo kung ano ba talaga ang pag-alaga nila dyan ng native chicken, that you can have it be followed, no. Otherwise kasi pag medyo malayo, no, lalo na po dito sa amin, no, the transport cost associated, no, in bringing these stocks to your place, no, medyo may kamahalan na, because we are used to transport this, no, via airplane, no, kasi pag nasa barko kasi, no, ang mortality sobrang taas, yung kung bakit na we prepare to what we call the aeroplano para mas mabilis na makarating sa lugar nyo. And then ang isa pa doon is that na if you're using what they call this group of chicken, hindi na po nyo kailangan na taon-taon bibili po kayo ng source of stocks nyo sa pinaka-source nyo, no, kung saan nyo binili. But this group of native chicken, it help us to be independent. Ibig sabihin po pag independent, no, kahit na hindi ka na bibili doon sa kanila, no, you can utilize your own existing stocks. With the demand that is about 230 million heads per year, no, hindi yan ma-supplyan na isang tao lang, ng isang institution, but it should be done collectively, no, among the raisers all throughout the country, no, para pa naman na yung mga pangailangan po nating kababayan, lalo na po sa mga native chicken na organic, no, or chemically or free from synthetic chemical, mabigyan po natin ng sagot, no. Kasi pag wala silang choice o wala silang source niyan, what will happen is that there is what they call the changes in market preference. Yung bakit naghanap sila and even they used to, no, buy even the colored broilers na tinatawag natin na native chicken, na para lang po masatisfy yung requirement nila in terms of the native chicken. Yung kung bakit that dapat po dito is what they call the pagtutulungan. And we also discussed that if we'll be engaging in this kind of production, no, we also required what they call the housing. No, yung sa housing kasi natin, using the material that we have dito po sa CPU, we're using what they call the collapsible housing. No, and as I have discussed in the previous week, nasabi ko that this 8x20 housing, no, napaka-ideal na sa area po natin. No, hindi na natin kailangan na palakihin pa, because as we develop a larger building po, magiging problema po natin is in terms of the cost of investment. At saka po, yung housing na to is that in terms of the flow, no, na ventilation, wala po tayong problema. At saka protected pa yung manok ninyo, no, paglalo na sa loob. But yung katanungan noon is that how much is the cost, no, possible cost, no, when someone is planning to have it be constructed. Actually, yung estimated cost niyan using the materials that we have, no, UV net, UV plastic, and then GI pipes, no, and aqua net, and then GI sheets, no. If possible po, kung may pili po kayong pagkukunan po ng GI sheet na used one, na I may suggest na yun po ang bilhin nyo, kasi mas mura saya, no, compared than buying the new one. Pero kung talagang wala doon sa area nyo, no, you can use the new, no. As I have mentioned that if you are used not to engage in this kind of project, in housing alone, no, prepare at least 1,000 pesos, no, per head, no, of the number of chicken that you'll be engaging. Ibig sabihin po, if you'll be engaging about 100 heads, no, of native chicken, no, kindly prepare around 100,000. No, that is complete na ang facility sa loob, ilaw, patubigan, no, patukaan, no, nandiyan na yan, no. But that 1,000, no, can be further reduced if you will be the one to fabricate it. Ang sa amin naman kasi, no, you can copy the design that we have. No, ang sa amin kahit tag na lang sa amin na nakopya po yung design, walang problema. That will be make us happy naman na makatulong po sa inyo. Using the locally available materials can also be an alternative, but possibly treat your area po, no, in terms of the termites, no, and other pests, no, associated with woods and bamboos. Otherwise kasi pag hindi yung treat ang area ninyo, ang magiging malaking consideration natin later on in terms of the cost is in terms of what they call the repair and maintenance. So yun ang pinaka-basic na kailangan po natin. No, video stocks at saka yung tawag dito yung housing po. So kung ang video stocks na based dito po sa amin sa Central Philippine University that is already vaccinated, aging 4 to 5 months old, costing about 650 pesos. Ibig sabihin po for every stocks that you will be engaging, no, kindly prepare about 1,650. However, if you opted naman na kung saan po makamura-mura po kayo, no, kaya na sinabi ko noon that you can start, no, on the day old chicks para mas mura. At saka yung binta kasi kung the old chicks is that na you can medyo makakalimatize pa sa area nyo. And at the same time, you are learning along the process. Kaya lang pag naumpisa po kayo sa the old chicks, no, baka abutin po tayo ng almost a year, no, bago po makaproduce po tayo ng marami-raming manok, no. Kasi yung manok kasi with good management, no, it will start to lay egg, no, as early as 4 months old. However, majority of those chicken, no, usually po nalilay ng egg, no, on the 5th and the 6 months. Halos ma-stabilize na siya, no, when it reaches, no, mga 7 months. Yung kung bakit that yung mga unang buwan, no, the first 2 months po, medyo maliit pa yung itlog at saka po hindi pa siya viable ganon para for the old chicks production. Kasi pag maliit yung itlog, maliit yung sisiyo. Pag maliit yung sisiyo, mabilis po yan mamatay, no? At saka the growth of the smaller chicks, no, is usually slower, no, compared to the bigger one. Aside from the stocks and the housing, because you intended to produce it as the old chicks, no, yung isa pa is in terms of your what they call the hatchery operation. So in the hatchery operation, kaya nga pinakita natin itong equipment na to. Actually in the hatchery operation, you have what they call the seater and hatcher. Pag sinabi po nating hatcher, ibig sabihin po that is only intended for hatching, and ang seater po that is intended only for incubation, in terms of what they call the seating of egg, no, from day 1 hanggang day 18, no. Yan kasi ang number of days na kung saan hindi pa mapisa ang sisiyo, but you must to transfer it, no, on the day 18 to 19, no, on the hatcher. Kasi pag sa ganong edad po ng itlog after the incubation, after po sa paglagay natin sa incubator, no, it will begin to hatch, no, as early as 19 days. And usually those chicks that hatch on the 19th day and 28th day, no, halos na-classify po yan under class A. However, yung pinakamalaking consideration natin is that based on experience that we have and the studies we conducted dito po sa CPU, pag medyo maramihan na po ang itlog, no, for the production, we are suggesting that the seater should be a separate equipment over than what they call the hatcher. Bakit po? Because na ang humidity requirement kasi ng seater is ibasang sa hatcher. Yung sa seater kasi that is only 58 to 62%, whereas, no, on the hatcher that is about 68 to 72%. And beside, no, pag nakisa isang unit lang sila, no, kaya na makita po ninyo dito po sa bandang kanan po ninyo, magiging consideration mo dyan is that na tawag dito yung accumulation of heat inside, no? Actually, this type of incubator is a microcontroller. It is governed by a microcomputer that used to control the temperature and the humidity inside the unit. Yung kung bakit na yung Whopper type, if you can still remember, sa mga older version ng incubator, lalo na po yung still air. Ang mga malalaking incubator kasi, zero hatcher, that is a force drop type of incubator. Ibig sabihin po, yung init sa loob po ay pinapagalaw po gamit yung fan, no? That is an heavy duty fan na kung saan po 24/7 yung trabaho niyan, no? Para na kung saan yung init po ma-distribute equally, no, within the seater or hatcher. But ang problema kasi natin when using what they call the Whopper type thermostat compared with the microcontroller, the margin of difference between the two, no, medyo malaki yung sa Whopper type. Yung kung bakit na minsan yung itlog halos maluluto na sa loob, no, yung kung bakit na unlike in the microcontroller, no, microcomputer whereby, no, ang eating difference niya is plus or minus 0.05 degrees centigrade, no. Yon ang binta, no. And beside, if you're going to purchase incubator po, kindly contact the manufacturer or fabricator kasi mayroong computation kasi niyan. Baka po ang mabili po ninyong unit baka sobrang liit para sa requirement nyo, o di kaya no, sobrang laki naman yung bakit that there should be a computation there. Now, you can contact the fabricator, no, para po naman ma-compute niya. For example, you have what they call the 400 hens, no, as a baseline. No, as long as gusto mo talaga na yung production mo is talaga intended for the old chicks production, as long as you have what they call the market. Ilang incubator ba ang kailangan natin dyan? If that 400 no, will be laid at the average of about 25% per day. Ang usapan kasi pag maramihan ang manok, no, we are counting not on per hen basis, na kung sabihin natin na bawat buwan ito ang number ng itlog na pwede mabigay po ng isang inahin. Sa amin naman dito, we are computing it based on the hen day. Ibig sabihin po, sa isang araw, no, ilang inahin ang nagbigay po ng itlog. On average, for example, you have what they call the 25%. So if you have the 400 hens, ibig sabihin po about 100 egg per day, no? And that 100 egg per day po, ang kailangan mo dyan is that for the egg, no, it will be stored up to 10 days. Kaya lang sa amin dito, storing it up to 7 days only, no, para po na kung saan yung pagpisa at saka paglabas ng itlog, no, halos linggo-lingguhan lang, no. So dito po, ang ginagawa niyan is that na pag 400 times by 7 days a week, ibig sabihin you have what they call the 700 eggs. Kaya lang, no, if you are going to have it be incubated, hindi naman lahat kasi ng itlog is ma-incubate po ninyo. And usually dito po sa amin sa Central Philippine University, those egg weighing less than 40 grams po, hindi na isinasama yan for hatching. Bakit? It is because na yung mga itlog na maliliit po, it will produce more chicks. Pag maliliit yung itlog, it needs special care. At saka hindi naman ganun kabilis maglaki based on the target date, based on the target age and marketable weight na gusto po natin. Yung kung bakit na yung itlog na hindi nakaabot doon sa set value namin na 40 grams, na halos binibinta namin siya as what they call the table egg, no. Yung kung bakit nabintahan namin dito po ay umaabot ng 8 pesos per piece yan, no. But kung sa labas na yan, umaabot na yan hanggang 10 to 15 pesos, no, per piece. Yung kung bakit that at least, no, with that 700, no, allot almost 15% of that 600, no, 700 pala, no, 15% of it, no, will be the allotted for market. So ibig sabihin, if you have 700 and then 15% will be for marketed, now you have about 105 eggs, no, ang pili po nyo ma-market. So only 600 eggs na possibly for incubation. So pag 600 eggs ang for incubation, ibig sabihin if that is your weekly production, na dapat po ang gawin po natin is that we should fabricate na about 4 na unit po ng incubator. No, sa amin kasi dito yung capacity po namin na mabilis linisan at saka handi pa at saka paglagay mo isahan lang, you can have what they call the 550 capacity or 500 to 550 capacity egg, no, yung incubator. So para paglagay nyo isa lang, pagkasalang nyo, kasi pag palagi nyo pong binubuksan ang incubator nyo, no, either it is heater or hatcher po, ang init po pag lumabas yan, it would take time para pag ma-recover nyan. At saka ang problema po natin, because the machine will be generating more heat, no, because of the heating element. Minsan pag nasobrahan kasi, na paakyatin kasi niyan ang init sa loob. Ang problema po natin, pag sobrang taas at saka bumaba, it would take time. Baka po ang itlog po is masira. That is why that once you loaded the egg inside the seater, na pwede bang kunin nyo lang siya on the 18th or the 19th day. No? Otherwise kasi pag araw-araw buksan po ninyo, no, delikado po yan. No, the escape of heat is very critical. And beside, no, on the incubator, if possible po, kindly look po ng incubator na kung saan po mayroong glass, no, sa harapan. That is what they call the monitoring window, para makita po ninyo ang itlog mismo, no, sa loob ng incubator po ninyo, para kung mayroong problema at least makita mo agad than those incubator na walang viewing window, no. Usually po ang cost kasi ng ganitong unit po, mga 500 capacity po, included, that is a microcontroller. Kasi pag gamitan nyo ng manual, kasi ang problema nyo sa manual, again, as I've mentioned, kailangan pa rin ng tao na dapat po mag move ng itlog, at saka ang pag move kasi ng itlog, odd numbers yan kasi, na dapat na mag-umpisa ka launa, last 3, last 5, no, minsan po ang iba tinatamad na, no, 3 bisis sa isang araw, 4 na bisis sa isang araw. Ayan, no, the turning of egg, no, a vital function, no, doon po mismo sa development po ng embryo sa loob. That is why that in this incubator that we have, yung sa amin kasi, because the turning, the adjustments of temperature and humidity po, it is on the microcontroller. No, ang sa amin kasi dito ang turning is every hour po ang turning niyan. No, at least mas maganda ang pag-turn, and saka automatic po yung turning niyan. Otherwise kasi pag may tao kung makalimutan, delikado pa ang itlog, no. And then beside that, ang pinaka-critical kasi on the egg, no, lalo na pag dating diyan sa ika-16, no, 15 16 days, na kung saan po nag-a-adjust po ng positioning yung itlog. Yung kung bakit that if you're going to store the egg, recommendation po namin is that large and up, no, store it under room temperature. Ang problema natin sa room temperature dito sa Pilipinas, minsan umakyat na, but what we are saying is that possibly, no, store the egg less than to 25 degrees centigrade, no, lalo na kasi pag umakyat kasi niyan by 32 to 37 po, 32, 35 hanggang 35 po, baka there will be what they call the gradual development of embryo inside the egg. At saka yun ang mga reason behind why is that there is what they call, if you're going to candling na on the 7 to 10 days na of incubation, mayroong early embryonic death. No, ibig sabihin ng early embryonic death na possibly ang isa sa mga reason niyan is that yung itlog na pag-store mo exposed in temperature more than 30 degrees centigrade, yung kung bakit na umakyat yung tawag dito yung na-develop po yung embryo. And then pagdating ng gabi naman, nung giminaw yung paligid mo, stop naman yung paglaki niya, yung kung bakit na it will trigger into what they call the early embryonic death. That is just only one of the reason. And there are a lot of reason of the early embryonic death aside from what I've mentioned. So in terms of cost na sabi ko kanina, usually po sa mga 500 capacity po, usually po ang ratio niyan per egg, if you're going to buy a seater, depende kasi yan sa manufacturer, ha. possibly mas mababa pa sa sinasabi ko, or possibly baka po mas mahal pa sa sinasabi ko, but based on us here at Central Philippine University, usually po ang costing yan is that 10 pesos per egg. No, ibig sabihin po, if we're going to fabricate the incubator, pag 500 capacity po, ang cost niyan is almost mga 55,000. Iba kasi ang pag-manufacture o fabricate ng incubator in the commercial, no, than those used in the station. Kasi yung space, no, in between, no, of the trays and the space in between tray to the sidings po, either up and down po, that is very critical. That is why dito po sa amin, no, we are stipulating talaga na dapat yung distance between the tray to the side walling, or whether in the up or down walling, that is about mga 6 to 8 inches po, para to give way, no, para sa magandang sirkulasyon ng hangin. Kailangan po kasi natin ng magandang sirkulasyon ng hangin para po halos yung gradient po, no, mga sabihin po natin gradient, yung differences between layer po halos balance yan. Saka yung distance between tray naman po is very critical with us. That is why that kung makikita po nyo dyan sa may bandang kaliwa po ninyo, kung makikita po nyo yung lalagyan po ng tray namin, halos malaki ang distansya niyan. That is to give way, no, para po sa magandang sirkulasyon ng hangin. And beside, so if you have what they call this one, so ibig sabihin, ang kailangan po niyo when you start stocks plus housing, ang kailangan mo doon na investment is 1,650. It can be possibly be reduced, but we are using the standard dito po sa Central Philippine University, 1,000 pesos investment para sa housing per head, at saka 650 pesos for your breeder stocks. At saka for incubator naman, and seater, now usually po sa unit ng isang incubator, ang costing niyan is 10 pesos per egg, at same also with your hatcher. Ibig sabihin po, if you have 400 eggs, ang kailangan po ninyong seater po is 4. No, 4. Kasi para to give way, na kung saan po on the ang pag-incubate kasi, it would take about 22 days. No, ibig sabihin, kahit na may mga manok pa dyan o may mga sisiyo pa sa loob ng itlog na hindi pumapisa, ang sa amin dito talagang dinidiscard na yan. Otherwise kasi do we have what we call the problem. At saka baka yung nauna mapisa po mamamatay because of the longer stay in the hatcher. So, 4 na tawag dito na seater, at saka kahit isang hatcher na lang, okay na yan. So ibig sabihin totality you have what they call the 5 units, no, 4 seaters and 1 hatcher. Now ang tanong ngayon, how about if tawag dito, if yung manok po natin is kaunti lang, no, ibig sabihin ng kaunti, no, yung kasi ang problema sa kaunti, no, may maitawa kasi na kasabihin na kaunti pero yung manok niya sobrang dami. For example, you have 100 heads. Ang tanong ngayon, Doc, ilang unit kasi ng mga incubator ang kailangan natin dyan? Possibly kung mag 100 heads naman po ang manok po ninyo, inahid lang ang iniisip natin dito, ha, hindi pa kasali yung tandang. With that average of 25 eggs per day, ibig sabihin po 25% every day will be gathering about tawag dito, no, about 25 eggs, no, times that by 7, ibig sabihin po you have 175 eggs. Ang isa po sa tingnan po natin is that na possible, tanongin, gaano ba kaya kalaki ang incubator if I have 100 heads? Kung ganun po, dalawang option po tayo. Unang option po natin is that you can have what we call the combination of the seater and the hatcher. Kung makikita po nyo yan sa mga ibang unit, na ang sa taas po is seater, no, at saka sa baba po is hatcher, yun ang ginagamit nila. Na you can have about siguro mga 300 egg capacity, no, yung seater, no, at saka 300 egg capacity din yung hatcher na nasa ilalim. Kaya lang, ang isa sa consideration natin pag isa lang ang unit niyan is that na magiging problema po natin is that during the hatching, kasi pag hatching kasi yung ang humidity po is tumataas, And that is also, that can affect what they call the developing embryo, no, kung nag-iisa lang sa isang unit. Yung kung bakit that if you'll be using the 300 capacity, no, but if you can access, no, the 150 capacity na incubator, the better it will be. No, kaya lang ang problema po natin, minsan yung cost niya, yun ang isa sa consideration natin. And what may I suggest is that kung ganun po, and then you prepare po na 500, pwede bang pag nagbukas kayo ng incubator nyo, bilis-bilisan nyo ng konti? At saka yung ang room kasi dapat hindi open ha. Sarado para at least yung ang temperature inside no can be regulated. Otherwise kasi pag 500 capacity, siguro ang gawin po ninyo is that you can have what you call the that's 500 capacity, pero yung hatcher po natin, you can have what you call the mga 200 egg capacity, no. Iba kasi ang computation. Yung iba kasi pag nasa hatcher kasi halos tabi-tabi yung itlog. Ang sa amin kasi dito, yung makikita po nyo sa gitna, the other one dyan sa kabila po natin sa 1,000 egg capacity, no. Hindi 1,000 egg capacity, is 1,700 egg capacity. Yung seater is 1,700 egg capacity. Pero yung hatcher po sa gitna, yung capacity niyan is only 400 eggs. No? Kasi sa amin dito, pag nagpisa ang sisiw, hindi yan tabi-tabi ang itlog. Nilagyan pa namin yan ng space. Otherwise kasi pag sobrang tabi, no, sumisikip yung mga sisiw sa loob, no, ang problema po natin is the mortality. No? Baka mapakan na mga naunang napisa ang bagong about to hatch na itlog. No? Yun ang magiging problema. Yung kung bakit na halos ang capacity po ng the same size, but the capacity na ng unit po is almost 50% less, no, with the 25 to 50% na capacity lang ng what they call the seater. So kung meron kang ganito, no, you can have what they call the production of the old chicks. So ibig sabihin, total investment 1,650 for the stocks and housing, no, plus 10 peso per egg. Na pag ganito po na unit, na you can count na how much is the cost of production investment requirement po ninyo, no, based on the egg production. Number of stocks is that the individual costing is 1,000 for the housing and 650 for the stocks and 10 peso investment for every egg, no, on your seater and hatcher. Now, yung isa po is that the other one is what they call the pag napisa na kasi, the next will be the old chicks. No, ito na. Ang sinasabi po natin na large and up, makikita po nyo dyan sa may bandang kaliwa po ninyo. That is what they call the large and up na paglagay po ng itlog. No, ganyan kadami ang itlog dito sa Central Philippine University. That is why that we are doing this one, no, para po na kung saan, no, we can really have the information or the data that we're reading, no, particularly that we are promoting what they call the commercial scale of production. Na kasi when we have stocks of about 1,250 egg hen, no, sa farm kasi, no, ganyan kadami po ang itlog every week, no, ganyan po kadami. And the first hatchery that we have is mismo doon, no, sa laboratory room ng College of Agriculture. But we are now transferring po dito. We are now transferred at the R&D building po. Dito po mismo man sa loob ng campus. But we have the hatchery that is capable of hatching, no, to hold what they call the 20,000 eggs, no, of native chicken. So the operation there is like this one, no, the loading, no, but kaya nasabi ko kanina that if you can see in the picture, no, dito po sa bandang kanan po ninyo, no, ganyan po medyo laborious po ng konti pag sobrang laki ng incubator, no, at saka malaki ang pagkatiwangwang niyan, no, kasi kailangan mo talaga na yung movement po. That is why that we used to promote po yung 500 egg capacity or 550 eggs capacity para na mabilis mo lang makuha at malaga yung itlog, at saka yung paglabas ng init po hindi ganon kadali po. And then next is that if you're producing the old chicks, ang nasunod po yung gawin is that na hindi po lahat ng itlog na magiging sisiyo po is mabinta sa market. No, that is what we experienced then. Lalo na time na kung saan po we tried what they call the contract growing. Doon na po medyo nagkabulyaso kami ng konti because the inquiry is there. Lalo na po sa ating mga racers dyan na gusto po na mag-alaga po ng native chicken, and then the focus is the old chicks. Tandaan po natin, hindi lahat ng sisiyo natin on time can be purchased by buyer coming from other places. Yung kung bakit that the downside of this kind of operation. And that is why that we are working here at Central Philippine University to really establish what they call the industry. Kasi pag nasa industry kasi yan, like in the broiler and layer, there is a farm responsible only for the production of the old chicks. Kaya lang, hindi pa ganun kasi ka-acceptable yung commercial scale of production. Actually, we started this technology way back then, 2012, when we put up our feed mill in Leon, Iloilo. And until right now, we are still doing this one. Dapat po meron kayong extra na mga brooder area. Bakit po? It is because that we need to brood ang mga exist na mga sisiyo na hindi po ma-ibenta. Ano kayang gawin mo dyan pag wala kayong breeder? Dapat meron ka talagang brooder. That is why that if you're engaging in the old chicks production, isa pa sa consideration natin is that you can have what they call the brooder house. Brooder house, doon mo ilagay, and then you can have like what we are doing here at Central Philippine University. We are selling chicks based on age. Mayroong 3 weeks old, may 1 week, 2 weeks, and 3 weeks, and even 1 month old. Kasi may mga buyer naman kasi that they wanted at least mortality na manok, yung kung bakit na gusto nila medyo may edad ng konti para at least yung survival rate medyo mataas-taas na ng konti. But the pricing is different from the old chicks. Yun ang isa sa mga consideration natin, lalo na pag if you're engaging in the old chicks production. The ups niyan is that na pag mayroon po kayong sure market po, walang problema. Every week po, pwede kayo magbenta. At saka ang kailangan na natin is that if you are transporting the chicks from your place to other area, wag po natin bigyan po ng patoka at saka tubig po. Lalo na pag na-travel yan, baka yung mortality niya naakyat. Yung kung bakit na basta sisiyo po, dapat pong shipment right after the hatching. Kung pwede po, kahit po isang araw, 2 araw, pwede pa makasustain na kahit na walang patoka. But possibly after hatching po, kung nag-hatch kayo ngayong araw, possibly po bukas ng umaga, pag ma-transport na niya papunta po sa bayan, the better it will be. Para at least po yung survival rate niya na medyo mataas-taas ng konti. And then beside, if you are transporting this kind of chicks, sa ngayon kasi ang nagiging problema namin dito sa CPU is that we could not transport chicks because of the restriction on the market on the airplane, kasi yung mga airplane dito, yung flight nila halos yung acceptance for the live animal hindi pa ganoon, and then madalang pa kasi ang flight ng aeroplano from Iloilo to other places of the country. Yon ang isa sa consideration natin. And then kung mayroong flight naman, tandaan po natin palagi that usually po pag poultry, pag nilagay yan sa may baggage compartment ng aeroplano, try to select ang aeroplano kasi ang willing to accept is those the bigger capacity plane. Kasi yung maliit na aeroplano, yung baggage compartment yan, walang aircon, baka dumating yung mga sisiyo sa lugar na dapat puntahan, lahat patay na. Yung bakit dapat na yung magpadala pa kami na usually yung mga aeroplano na air condition yung sa may baggage compartment para po na kung saan po yung survival po ng sisiyo parating doon medyo mataas ng konti. Mataas pala. But make sure that you can have it be vaccinated. Otherwise kasi pag yung kasamahan yan sa aeroplano po is vaccinated, tapos siya hindi, baka pagdating doon sa area na may bumili niyan at saka hindi agad nabukunahan, magiging problema po natin. Baka yung mortality po sobrang taas in the first few days because of the infection that it used to get from the other poultry species present during what they call the transport. The down naman ng operation is that na tandaan po natin palagi na is that the marketing aspect po. Marketing aspect. That is why that sa ganitong larangan po ng pag-alaga ng manok, lalo na pag sa commercial scale of production na pwede bang magtulungan po tayo na that is one way and how we can help the industry. Natandaan po natin na hindi po natin kaya supplyan ang requirement ng buong Pilipinas and we need the help of other raisers. At saka yung isa sa nakita po namin is that the specialization. If you want to raise native chicken na kung saan po mas efficiency wise na mataas po, dapat na meron po tayong specialization. Pag sinabing specialization, pag ang intended mo is only the old chicks production, half it be produced as the old chicks production. Bakit? Isang tingin mo lang sa video stocks mo, alam mo na kung anong sakit, kung anong dapat panapatambal. At sa kung may tauhan po kayo, no, hindi po siya mahirapan because isa lang po ang edad ng manok na dapat niya alagaan. Otherwise, if you will be engaging in various stages po, magiging problema natin palagi is that the day-old chicks is a very vulnerable na edad po ng manok, no? That is why that we must to take consider always that one, no? Isa yan kasi sa mga pinakamalaking consideration natin, dagok natin when it comes po sa production ng day-old chicks, no? Maganda yung kwentuhan, but again, kwentuhan is nothing. Ang importante po is yung kwentahan, lalo na po sa commercial scale of production. And what we're talking what we're sharing right now is that this is really based on experience and study that we have conducted dito po sa Central Philippine University. And this is with the help also of the various raisers na po nandito na located in Iloilo. Now, the experiences that we have, pinag-share na para to come up to be the legitimate means of producing a native chicken in commercial scale. There is what they call the market. Kaya lang ang isa sa consideration palagi is that in terms of pricing naman kasi doon na tayo nagka-problema ng konti because pag pumasok yung middleman, so sobrang dami ng middleman, walang problema naman pag yung middleman naman kasi hindi naman kanong kadami. Ibig sabihin natin 1 level o 2 level, okay lang yan. But if the level of middleman umabot hanggang 10 niyan, at saka sa bawat level po kahit 20 pesos lang ang pwedeng kita niya or profit, kung 10 sila ilang. So that is about 200 pesos. Minsan masobra pa ang sa kanila compared to those of the raisers. Yung kung bakit that ang tawag po sa native chicken industry is the unstructured industry. Na pag sinabi na unstructured, kasi sa Manila yung presyo 1 is 450 to 500, in Mindanao as low as 150 to 160 pesos per kilo. Ganon po ang nangyayari. Unlike in the broilers, pag sinabi natin sa broilers, yung price all throughout the country is 130 pesos per kilo. Halos ganon lahat-lahat. But for native chicken, there is what they call the discrepancy. And that is why that it is called as what they call the unstructured industry. Because na sa katagal-tagal na po sa Pilipinas na native chicken, ang nagiging problema natin is that the R&D component and then the support from various sector and also for the raisers. Now, what prevails then is that na ang pinakamaraming concern noon in terms of the production that used to focus in terms of what they call the backyard scale of production. That is why that maramihan din noon nag-try na mag-alaga ng manok in commercial scale using what they call the backyard scale of production. Dumating sa punto po na halos lugi po. Yun ang isa sa consideration natin. Right now, the Central Philippine University, we're working on the identifying po with the right market para po at least once na-establish po namin dito on the right market, at least lahat ng raisers in the country will have the idea on how to properly market their product. Either it is on the live, dress, or what they call the process one. So, yun ang mga ups and down in terms of the old chicks production.